Hey guys, my name is Coach Eileen Wu. I am an Olympic weightlifting coach, and we're going to react today to the Panchik brothers doing 21.4. So note at this time I have skipped through Scott's warm-up attempts with the weight, and we're starting with the first weight of his complex, and we're going to look at the difference between him and his brothers. So here we go. So we're going to start off, and he walks up to the barbell, and we're going to mute this down a little bit. So notice also that he took about almost 3.5 minutes between the end of 21.3 and the start of 21.4. So he didn't rush going into it. He took about a full minute before he even did any warm-up weight. So a tip for you guys is to be strategic about your weights and to use your rest time wisely. The big difference between 21.3 and 21.4 is 21.3 is move it, you're an engine, go. 21.4, you're moving heavy weight now, or the intention is to move heavy weight. And when you're moving heavy weight, you need to take your rest time so that you can move that heavy weight. So take your time going into your lift. Be strategic about your weight. Another thing with being strategic about your weight is it's a deadlift, clean, hang clean, and then a jerk. Your top weight of this complex on the best day ever is your weakest lift. And for most people, that's either the hang clean, that's probably either the hang clean or the jerk. So just know that as you're starting to pick your weights. All right, so here we go. We're gonna start 275 first complex first. So a deadlift, a clean, a hang clean, and a jerk at 275. So let's see what happens. So he picks up the barbell, deadlift, clean, barbell cycle into the hang clean, and then the jerk, right? So let's take a little bit of a dive into this, and then we'll go from there. So I want you to note his positioning here. So his positioning here, he's solid, right? He's solid, looking straight ahead. His back is tight. I wish we could have a side view, but we don't. And he goes to pick up the barbell. He here is standing up from his deadlift, right? He goes back down into his clean. And here, he still looks like he's in a pretty decent solid position. If you didn't know he did a deadlift before, you may not know. Like, this is a pretty solid position. And he does buckle a little bit, but when he goes to stand up, look, the barbell's a little close to him. It gets to him just a little bit away from him right here. His hips come forward to meet the barbell, but he's quick with his hips coming up. He continues to pull onto the barbell. He receives the barbell in that strong position, and then he rides it, and then he stands. Shifts a little bit forward on the receive, but it's okay. And then from here, he does a barbell cycling style hang clean. So hang clean basically means any clean that's not off the floor. So from here, the other brothers, I think they did from above the knees, and it looks like Scott Panchik elected to do a high hang clean. So he kept the barbell close, did a barbell cycling technique. So he keeps the barbell close, comes down. Once it goes down, he's half dipped, and then he's pulling it back up again. Note how close he's keeping that barbell. Again, receives it so solid, way above parallel. Look how solid he receives that hang clean or that high hang clean. And then here, still looking straight ahead. Look how solid his positioning is. His chest, his back, he's looking straight ahead. He's tight. And then from here, notice when he's dipping, the shoulder and the torsos don't come in. You don't see any slack in the core. And from here, he dips and he drives that barbell up, and his body under the bar. There's no press out because he's driving his body under the bar. And then from here, he recovers, front foot, back foot. All right, here we go. Time for Spencer Panchik. It looks like he's got 275 on the barbell. Walks up to the barbell. First the deadlift, then the clean. Kind of slips a little bit there, lost his grip. Now he's uneven on the bar. Fuck, but oh well. Goes for the hang clean. He does this one from above the knee. He adjusts, and then he goes for the jerk. Again, pushing himself under the barbell, but let's dig into this one. So here we have Spencer Panchik, hands on the bar, feet under the bar. And then from here, he rolls the barbell to him, which again, I don't love because it changes your body's positioning to the bar. But in a complex like this, you don't really have... You have a choice on the first deadlift, but all the other lifts, well, the second clean is a touch and go, so that's just how it's going to be. But notice here, when he goes to set up against the barbell, do you see that? The second he picked up that barbell, how much slack there was on his system? You don't see that back tight. You can see his arms, not the best angle, but from the front angle, you can see his arms a little loose, and you can see it's already pulling him forward. Right here, it's already pulling him forward. You see the butt come up first, and then here he stands up with it. I have a feeling it's pretty far away from him too, which you can tell, because if it weren't far away from him, it wouldn't hit his shorts like that. Do you see that? Because if it were close to him, it would be coming up his shorts the whole way, coming from the knee sleeves, right? But regardless, here we go, deadlift. Notice also here his positioning. He took a breath and his body caved in a little bit. What does that tell you? It tells you that he's not tight, right? And yes, you can take a breath in between your movements, but just know what that looks like. His body's not tight right at that moment. And then from here, he goes down. Look, he's already loose going down into his clean. This is the difference between him and Scott. Remember when Scott went down for the next clean, he had solid positioning. And when he went down to pick it up, you wouldn't be able to tell. Here you can already tell he's working, right? Like his mouth is open, like he's just looking to bounce and go, like swing and get momentum. And that's exactly what happens. But comes up first here. And then from here, look, he's already looking straight ahead and he's looking up. It's the head looking, careening forward. It's already pulled him way forward, but it's coming up his legs a little bit. We'll give him that, right? Which you can tell because it's on his shorts. And then from here, you can tell, like, it's not as solid of a position. His core isn't engaged. It's more of a hip bump, a swing up, and then you can tell because he has to jump forward to receive it. He would have been solid receiving it here, but then he got loose here as he stood up with the barbell. Granted, he's done a lot of work before this, right? He just kicked ass on 21.3, but I'm just showing you from a form and technique standpoint what I'm looking at. So he stands up here. Note again, right here, that little movement right here. You see that? On his chest. Pay attention one more time. Right here in this chest. What does that tell you? It tells you he doesn't have that strong positioning because it caved in. So from here, he's collecting himself. He's taking a couple breaths and he's adjusting. He's adjusting to go for his hang clean, right? So he's giving it a little pop, and then the barbell's coming down. So as he came up with the barbell, he released the hook grip. As he's going back down, he's trying to recapture the hook grip here, but he got a little too far away from him, and literally far away from him. And here, look, it comes crashing down, and he popped it a little too far, it looks like. So now here, he's internally rotated, he's loose, and he's gonna have to catch this bar because it has to be a hang clean, right? And can't let go of the bar, which kind of did, but I think it means just don't put it down. So from here, he's got to exert all this effort to hold on to the bar, 275, recollect himself, stand up, find his grip again because he lost it, right? Try to get even on the bar as best he can. So from here he stands. Let's see his hang clean. So from here, he goes down. So okay, note this right here. So as he's going down from here, standing into his hang clean position, he doesn't stay there for a second before he moves, right? And I understand it's heavy and you gotta go. But why that's significant? Because it means he's not solid on his feet and he's looking to swing it more. Like before, you can see head is going up. He's careening his head up, hip coming forward, and you can tell bar going out away from him. And then from here, he goes to the receive, and he could be solid on this receive had he been stronger right there, but he also has to account for the back and forth motion of the barbell. I mean, in front and behind in terms of positioning relative to him. And then here he collapses on the barbell a little bit if he just wasn't tight enough or he had to account for that motion. Gets his elbows up and then stands with the barbell from the hang clean, right? So he pops the barbell up, fine. He's adjusting for the jerk from here. I like that he dips on his heels, torso up, head looking straight ahead. From here, powering the barbell up and him under the barbell. It does look like it's a little loose and he didn't react to the barbell as opposed to just finding what I call a predetermined height. But hey, he got it, no lockout, right? And as long as you make it first, then you talk about technique, to be honest. So he made it, good job, 275. So while Spencer's in this corner doing 275, we have Scott in this corner doing 275. Here he is, he goes to the barbell, he picks up the deadlift, right? He goes for the clean, goes for the above the knee clean, got the jerk, right? So let's dig into this. And if you haven't noticed yet, that is kind of interesting. It's like in terms of technique and tightness on the barbell, you have, in my opinion, Scott, you have Saxon, and then you have Spencer, right? So in terms of best technique, good positioning is Scott. In terms of most loose on the barbell, most reliant on swinging and just like grit strength is Spencer. And then in the middle, you have Saxon. So let's take a look at his complex. So here he is. He's going for his deadlift. I love this angle too, because we can actually see a little bit better perspective of what's going on with the barbell. From here, he gets tight on the barbell, goes to pick up the deadlift. It looks like it's away from him too a little bit on the deadlift. It didn't right up his shorts, but it's not like 275 is heavy for him deadlift anyway. So from here, notice when he picks up the clean, there is a little bit of that slack right there. You can see it with his arms, but it's a touch and go. Notice his positioning here, right? So notice when he picks up the barbell, notice his back specifically. His back is tight here, and his butt doesn't come up first. And notice how close that barbell is to him and that he stays over the barbell. And then from here, again, he passes his knees, and look how close that barbell is to him, and he's still maintaining this tight positioning, this strong positioning, big chest, tight back. His head and eyes are still looking straight ahead. And then from here, look, at this point, Spencer was already looking up. He was careening the head up, looking to swing that barbell up, hip bumping it. And here, you don't see that from Saxon. Sorry, trying to keep track of all the S names. So you don't really see that. He does go a little early, and you do see a little bit of a hip out, but not as much as you saw from Spencer. From here, he keeps pulling under the barbell, right? He keeps pulling on the barbell. He receives it in that nice, strong position. He got a little loose right there, but it's not bad. He stands up with the barbell here. He was ready for the stand-up, and he already knew he was going to receive it like that on the way down, which may not have been the best idea, but he collects himself. He had his hands on the barbell the whole time. I would like a little bit of a stronger position here, but he's tired, he's catching his breath. But do note that once he gets here, he again has a decent position here with that big chest tight. His head and eyes are looking straight ahead. And then from here, it's a little swingy. I would like him to wait a little bit longer and let that barbell come up his thighs a little bit more, but it's not bad, right? So from here, he goes from above the knee, he comes up a little bit. It does get away from him. You see it get away from him. He's pulling on the whole way. He has to come forward a little bit. So you see how that barbell is a little bit in front of his torso. Receives the barbell, and then he stands up. From here, you gotta adjust for the jerk. So here he is standing with that good positioning. I would like him a little bit tighter before he goes, but regardless, here he is. Notice the weight on his heels. He comes forward just a touch right there, loses positioning just a touch, recovers, powers up. I dare say he could push his body a little lower under that barbell, because here when he meets that barbell, he has to do a slight press out. It's very, very slight, but it's fine. From here, he recovers back foot, and you can tell that when he went for the drive that the bar was a little in front of him because he has to recover back foot first. It's ideal to recover, you're supposed to recover front foot, back foot, but the reality of the situation is make or jerk. So that's all the brothers, 275. So the little brothers just did 275, and looks like Scott's going for 290. So he stands up with the barbell, deadlift, clean, high hang clean, jerk. Beautiful, right? Let's dig in. So from here, the deadlift, I'd like him a little tighter on the bar and take the slack off and have a gradual pull, but it's 290 for Scott, no big deal. So he stands up with the deadlift here, right? He's gonna go for the clean, touch and go. Note again, as before, solid positioning. He's got that tight back, he's got that big chest, his head and eyes are looking straight ahead. The reason that's important is because where your head and eyes go, your body follows. You want stable positioning for your head and the rest of your body. So he's looking straight ahead. He goes to pick up the barbell. Notice when he goes to pick up the barbell, that back angle stays the same the whole way. So from the floor to picking it up, back angle stays the same. There is a little bit of an early arm bend, not my favorite, but hey, it happens. I'd like him to keep the bar a little bit closer right here, and because his body has to shift forward just a touch to the barbell, as opposed to the barbell staying closer to him and that center of mass. And then he goes here into the extension. Him coming to the barbell is not as preferable, but note the barbell is on him. It's close on him. He goes to the extension. He does a great job of extending. He does a great job of pulling the whole way. Pulls the whole way, receives in that strong position, stands up with it. And then from here, he's so strong and he's ready that he barbell cycles, high hang cleans the next weight. So here we go, goes down and then extends. But notice here, he's really using his legs. He's using the timing of the barbell coming down, but he's using his legs to power that barbell up. And after you use your legs to power that barbell up, you got to keep pulling with your arms. He's pulling with your arms to keep the barbell coming up and to position you to that barbell. Here he goes. He receives the lift. Receives it beautiful in this strong position, right? So the closer you can keep it to you, the closer it is, the more you don't have that front back momentum on the barbell, and you have to figure out where you are in relation to the barbell. So he receives it. He's in beautiful position. He's tight, right? And then from here, he stands up, brings his feet in for the jerk, takes a breath. Here he's going for the jerk. He's trying to stay vertical. Looks like the weight is on his heels. He gets a decent dip on it, powers straight up, gets as much height on it, and then he pushes his body down and under the barbell, stabilizes, and then recovers front foot, back foot. Very nicely done, 290. So I want to talk about something here real quick, and it might get me in trouble, but I'm going to say it anyway. So a commentator right now, and I don't think you could hear it because I have my earbud in, but a commentator right now wanted to bring up the difference between how Scott and his brothers receive the barbell and what he calls the catch. I prefer receive because catch just implies passivity. And yes, that's important. It's important to be tight and solid on the barbell and ready for it. That's one factor that has to do with receiving the barbell well. But another factor is the pull. If you're swingy going into the extension, if you hip bump it forward, then it's not as ideal. The barbell goes away from you. There's other factors that come into play. Your ability to receive it well before you stand up with it, right? So the closer you can keep the barbell and the big pull continues, helps that too. It helps get the barbell coming up. It helps keep the barbell close to you. The better you are with the pull, the easier that receive is going to be. All right, so here we go. Scott Panchik, last attempt, 311. So from here, he's going for the deadlift. He gets tight on the barbell, but 311, come on, it's light for Scott Panchik. Goes to pick up the barbell, strong positioning, head and eyes looking straight ahead. And then from here, he goes into the clean, brings that barbell down. Note, he doesn't just drop. He doesn't just collapse. He doesn't just drop the barbell. He's bringing that barbell down. That barbell is staying close to him. He's being purposeful about it. It can definitely use more energy. It's eccentric. It's eccentric loading, but it keeps the barbell close to you. You have better control of the barbell, which is important if you're doing a touch and go clean. So from here, he touch and he goes to stand up. You get a little bit of the jolt, whatever, things bump. Not ideal. But overall, look at his positioning. He's got this solid back. His back angle does not change as he goes to pick up the barbell. And then from here, a little bit of an early arm bend. And he does a great job here. So the bar is a little bit in front of him. His hips do come a little forward to meet the bar again. He stays on his heels. He stays on his feet and he waits a little bit so he can get that little extra height on his leg. Because look at where that barbell is relative to him. And he hasn't extended yet. So he's buying that extra height, and then from here he does that big extension, so it gives it a little pop, shrug, and note he's pulling on that barbell the whole way. He's pulling on that barbell the whole way, receives it before the bottom. It's not a pull and pray. He's pulling on that barbell the whole way. He's solid on that receive. He stands up with the barbell, right? And then from here he goes into his really strong high hang clean, keeps the barbell close, dips, drives. Again, here, let's see this again. He uses the timing of the barbell coming down, and then from here gives a dip, uses his legs, drives up. Note though his positioning, his head and eyes are looking straight ahead. He's maintaining this strong torso positioning, pulling that barbell up the whole way, continuing the momentum up, receiving the barbell before the bottom, stands up with it. From here, he takes a breath, goes for the jerk. Notice he's vertical. His weight is staying on heels. He's going for that drive, big drive up, pushes his body under. He's a little shaky, but good enough. Front foot, back foot. Nicely done. Scott Panchik, 311. So here's Saxon, a 295 deadlift. Clean. A little bit of ish on that receive. Definitely a lot of ish on that bringing the barbell down. It is 295 though. Ooh. Ooh. Grits it up. Nice jerk though. Nice recovery, nice jerk. Let's dig in. Here we have Saxon walking up to the barbell for the deadlift. Again, 295 for Saxon, I'm sure is nowhere near his deadlift. So he goes here. I would like him a little tighter on the barbell. It looks like his shoulders are not completely back. It's a little forward. Didn't take the slack out of the bar, but again, for him, 295 is probably not heavy. It's still ideal though to have good positioning. It is more efficient. And then from here, note he's not looking straight ahead. He's looking down, as opposed to his brother Scott was looking straight ahead the whole time. And then from here, do note though is that like his brother, looks like he's keeping it close to him, and it looks like he's doing a decent job of maintaining this tight torso. I can't super tell from the front, but it looks pretty decent. And then from here, so a little bit of bounce because of that touch and go, but overall the positioning is decent. I would like the shoulders back a little bit more, and you can tell because he's here versus here, but not bad. And you see him pull a little bit there. I don't know if that's because he wasn't tied or he's recovering from the touch and go. It looks like he is coming forward a little bit on his toes. That it pulled him for just a little bit. You see his hips come forward to the barbell to meet it because it's a little in front of him. But I do see him looking straight ahead and, you know, decent positioning right here with his chest and his back. And then from here, he, like his brother, is doing a decent job there, holding on to the barbell, like making sure he stays on his foot so that when he extends here, he does that shrug pull. He's pulling on the barbell the whole time and he receives it right there. That would have been solid. Gives a little bit right there. That's when Mr. Commentator would be right to compare Scott versus his brothers and to how tight he is on the barbell, because that was close enough. And that was not being completely ready for the bounce, which you want to get all you can out of the bounce because it's easier to stand up with it, right? And then from here, it's a little bit of a grit to stand up. It's not super gritty, but it's not as easy as it would have been if he were tight and caught the bounce. He's bringing the barbell down, and he doesn't look like he controls it as well as Scott does, and it comes banging in on him, and he doesn't use his legs as shock absorbers as much, but who am I to say I don't do that regularly with 295? But observation. So here he has to spend energy to recover, puts it in his hip crease to try to figure out what's going on, right? And then from here, he stands. Note here before he goes, that's kind of loose. And you can see that because his shoulders are a little bit forward. And then from here, he's going into the above the knee. This is a decent position. But notice he doesn't stay here very long before he goes. So like his other brother, he's a little swingy, but not as bad. And then from here, his hips are again rolling forward to the bar because it's in front of him. He needs to keep it close against him. But then he does a good job extending. Not as much though, right? Or he's just not as strong because it doesn't go up as high, but he keeps pulling, but not as hard as Scott, which you can tell because it doesn't look as aggressive. And he doesn't have as much room. It doesn't go as high. He doesn't have as much room to receive it at the bottom. And he wasn't ready for it at the bottom. And you can tell it's a little in front of him in relation to where it is on his chest. And he collapses and then the elbows hit the knees, which for us mere mortals out there, you really, really, really want to avoid because it could jam your wrists. And for anyone that's ever injured their wrists, know it takes forever to heal your wrist when they're not doing well. But anyway, he's in this position, and because he's fucking solid and strong, he recovers, brings his elbows up, and grits himself out of that front spot. Go you, Saxon, because that's legit. For the jerk, notice it's kind of sudden. I prefer a more gradual going into the jerk because it means you have more control over the rest of your body positioning. And then from here, he dips, and he drives, pushes himself down under the barbell. This I love. So on the jerk drive, note you're only going to get so much height out of the barbell. And from there, you have to push your body down under the barbell. So Saxon did a great job here of once he drove it up, although I think he could have driven it more up. Once he drove it up, he was quick to push himself down under that barbell. And then it was a little in front of him, which you can tell because, again, he had to receive back foot first. Good job holding on to it. Good job being stable. Freaking great job gritting out that clean. Awesome. 295, Saxon. And I believe we have one more with Spencer, so let's check this out. So here we go, Spencer. I think this is 295 also. No, right? So let's take a look at his positioning. So hands on the barbell. Again, he's going to deadlift the barbell up, which isn't the problem, but let's look at the technique. Look right off the floor. It pulls them a little bit forward, but again, these aren't ideal deadlift shoes. I mean, they have a heel. That's not what you want when you deadlift, but it is really light for him, and also he did a lot of work. So regardless, here we go, standing up from the deadlift. Note here his positioning, kind of caved in, looking down, right? Although it is a rest. And then from here, notice it looks like the barbell's coming away from him. Notice his back isn't tight. Notice he's not stable with where he's looking the whole time. He goes to pick up the barbell. He has that slag. It happens when it's a touch and go. He picks up the barbell, goes for the lift, and he just doesn't have enough in him. But the thing to notice though is right here from above the knee, he's already starting to look up. He's already careening up. He's already like going for the extension. Whereas if you remember this position with Scott, he was very much on his feet. He was looking straight ahead. He had that big torso and he was being patient, waiting on his feet so that he could get a little bit more height going into that extension. And then here, he didn't have enough speed, he didn't have enough height, and the barbell was in front of him. Game over, right? So, I mean, incredible performance here by all three Panchik brothers. You know, I don't know how strong they are relative to each other. I'm sure that changes too as time goes. Like, Scott's the strongest, and you can see that too, especially he was able to high hang clean, coming out of that clean. But notice the positioning of all, and notice their technique amongst the three brothers. It looks like Scott the best technique. He was most solid. He was looking straight the whole time. He had good positioning. He was tight. He used his legs. He kept the barbell really close. He pulled on the barbell the whole way. Under him is Saxon. Not as tight, but you saw glimpses of it, or you saw enough of it here or there, and he kept the barbell close as well. And then the third under that is Spencer, who was most loose on the barbell relative to his brothers and seemed to rely most on swinging to get the barbell up. Again, strength has to be taken into account. Again, they just did 21.3, but just something to ponder and think about. Thanks for watching the video. My review of the Saxon brothers doing 21.4 as a surprise announcement. If you'd like the video, please like and subscribe below. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. We got some cool stuff coming out for you. We have Elevate Weightlifting Programming coming out for beginner, intermediate lifters, CrossFitters looking for some Olympic lifting in their life. If you want to sign up, check out the description below. You want your own analysis from a member of the WuLift coaching team, check that below too. Otherwise, hope you have a great day. Good luck on 21.4.